So why is it a bad idea? I think there's several reasons for it. Now, one of the first ones is that it assumes that, based on heavily distorted assumptions, that game developers are like this evil force that is trying to trick gamers.
Because I enjoy nothing more than when a video trying to argue against my beliefs or something that I believe to be true or a position that I support. I mean, there's nothing that I love more than when the opposition makes a video called, the thing that I believe in is a bad idea because reason number one, completely subjective thing. I love that. I really want to hear you out now. Hey, remember when I said I just didn't feel like I had anything interesting to say about Stop Killing Games, and now I'm making 2 Stop Killing Games in a row? You brought this upon yourself, Caracal? I don't know. But let's just break this down here. You say Stop Killing Games is a bad idea, and your first reason that you want to give is that it operates off the assumption that developers are evil and trying to trick gamers, which I think is interesting because, again, totally subjective point there. I have no idea whether or not the entire movement is based off the idea that developers are evil. Given the fact that many developers have come out in support of this, I would like to think that that's actually not what the movement is based on. It's also pretty clear that Stop Killing Games is more so targeted at publishers, not developers. And it's not that gamers feel like they're being tricked, it's that gamers feel like they're being taken advantage of, very consciously. It's not that we're being tricked, it's that our rights as consumers are being trampled upon. We're not confused. We're not under any misconception about the situation. We're very aware of what the situation is. We don't think publishers are trying to trick us. We think publishers know exactly what they're doing and they're upfront about it. Just the other day, you know that line in the Ubisoft's user agreement that's been getting a lot of negative attention? Ubisoft actually acknowledged that and just doubled down on it. And then they closed the replies to the doubling down. It's not that we think publishers are trying to trick us, it's that publishers are getting more and more blatant with their disrespect for us. So if you're going to try and say that Stop Killing Games is a bad idea, and you don't agree with it, you might want to have some minute level of understanding of what it actually is before you start painting with a broad brush like this, especially when the thing that you're using to paint is entirely subjective. Yeah, Stop Killing Games operates off of this assumption. Fucking what?
And the only way to stop it is use government force to stop it.
We're not saying we want the government to be involved, but it would be awesome if the government took some kind of interest in protecting consumers' rights. To quote this person from your comment section in a different video where you talked about Stop Killing Games, quote, I generally agree that using the force of law is a bad idea, but the waters are muddied by the fact that IP is enforced through the law. Ending server support for a game should result in forfeiting all rights to pursue legal action against anyone using the game's assets to launch their own servers or distribution of the game. And that's why, again, for an opening argument, we're 18 seconds into his video, for an opening argument, this is horrendous. Not only did you paint with a really broad brush about who is actually supporting this thing and what the thing actually represents, but also you're saying that we want the government to get involved. I mean, in my case, no. In many other people's cases, no. But really, what else are we supposed to do? Our rights as consumers are being trampled on, and if our rights are supposed to be, written in law, protected by law, then yeah, get the government involved. That's their fucking job. I'm basically a younger, less handsome Ron Swanson. I will never advocate for the government to get involved with anything. But in this case, it is literally their job to protect us as consumers. Yes. Get their attention. Companies should not be able to just take things away from you after you've bought them, and we should not be normalizing this culture of them being able to do that. And if the government claims to exist in order to protect consumers' rights, then yes, let them protect consumers' rights.
And that will backfire 100%. Because using government force to force your will on somebody else will never work out as you want it to work out.
I will not make a World War II joke. The German guy is talking about how using the government to force things doesn't work. I won't go there. You can't make me. So what's the deal with Hitler?
Not just for gaming. Okay, so why is it bad? No.
Also, I would like to completely throw your entire point out the window. about how like, oh, they're using the government to force people to do a thing. We're not asking you to do a thing. We're asking you to just stop doing something that you weren't doing before. That's the ultimate irony of this whole situation. Stop killing games is not asking the gaming industry to do something more. It's literally just asking the gaming industry to do what they have been doing up until recently. Like, oh, you gamers, you expect so much. Well, yeah, we built the fucking industry while the industry was operating a certain way, and now the industry is trying to pivot, or at least the AAA sector of the industry is trying to pivot in a way that takes advantage of us, and we're not happy about it. We're not asking for much. We're asking you to go back to what we were completely happy to support. Our games didn't used to get taken away from us. We didn't used to pay for licenses for our games. We used to not worry about games like official support being shut down and then the game just completely vanishing. Yeah, that happened, but it's not something we actively worried about, and especially if we were part of a games community, if the official support ended, we at least could take solace in the fact that we could support the game privately. Stop Killing Games is not asking for much. We're just asking to go back to the way things were 5 minutes ago, and the way things were was like universally seen as okay by everyone except the major AAA publishers. That's the issue here. We truly are not asking for much. The fact that the government is even having to be talked about getting involved is fucking dumb.
I'll start with, like, there's three parties here. You have game developers who want to make video games and sell it to people.
Yeah, and how do you think the developers feel when they literally can't sell the game to people anymore because of decisions made by the publisher? How do you think they feel about this? Spoiler alert, they don't like it. That's why a lot of indie and AA developers are coming out in support of this.
Then you have players who buy the video games. Then you have YouTubers.
Yeah, and how do you think players feel? Spending money on something with the knowledge that it can be taken away from them at any point.
Who make gaming videos, especially about the gaming industry, like this video that was recommended to me.
I can't wait to hear about how this is our fault. I cannot wait to hear about how Stop Killing Games is actually just like gaming YouTuber rage bait. No, like 100%, totally our fault.
And YouTubers have an interest in amplifying and distorting information. Some people call it rage baiting.
Holy shit. I haven't watched the video yet. I didn't know he was going to actually use the word rage bait. I'm fucking Nostradamus. Also, if you're going to put gameplay in the background of your video, mute the fucking gameplay, you moron.
To get views for the videos. So there's a financial incentive for... I'm not going to accuse every YouTuber of grifting. Maybe the information is bad, but I think they're wrong in the assumption that... Like, I think she's wrong with your opinion here.
Okay, full stop. We're a minute and 15 seconds into your video. I really don't know how far I'm going to make it into this one, because I don't know how long I've been talking. We're literally 75 seconds into his video. I'm going to shit my pants. But several things are wrong here. First of all, if the point of, talking about Stop Killing Games is, if the whole point of YouTubers making content about the thing, if the whole point was to make videos and to get views and to get rage bait and to get as much traffic onto my channel as possible by talking about it, I would be talking negatively about it. Because this is a movement that is almost universally seen as a good thing and a positive thing. If I wanted to be rage baiting, I would be making negative videos about it. Kind of like what you are right now. Fantastic like to dislike ratio. You're doing terrific. But I also don't like this notion that YouTubers who make content about these things are not gamers as well. As if I, as a gamer, and I, as a YouTuber, are two entirely separate people. No, I am a YouTuber who is also a gamer, and I benefit by Stop Killing Games being successful. I'm also going to talk about the thing in the gaming sphere because I am a gamer. I resent this idea that I, as a YouTuber, have no interest in Stop Killing Games outside of the potential for views. That there's no possible way that people like me and other YouTubers who are gamers, there's no possible way that we could be taking interest in Stop Killing Games if not to further our channels. Just the assumptions being cast here are insane, and you are so logically inconsistent. You opened the video by saying people support Stop Killing Games based on like some misconception or some assumption that developers are evil and trying to trick them, but now we're painting with another gigantic brush that the only reason YouTubers are talking about it is because it's rage bait and it's the thing to get people talking about it, which isn't even consistent with reality, because again, you would be talking negatively about it if you were trying to rage bait. But you're also talking about how the government shouldn't be forcing people to do things. That never ends well. The government shouldn't be forcing people to do things. Also, here's an entirely wrong representation of the situation. And that's why the government shouldn't get involved. The government shouldn't get involved because completely wrong representation of the information. But the government shouldn't be making you think something. Government shouldn't be making you do something. But also, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure you don't have the information. It's just, my God.
Like, look at it this way. A game developer has to...
My God, mute your gameplay. Mute the gameplay. It's not hard. Mute the gameplay.
Figure out some type of game design that is fun for the player. Then he has to develop it. And hope the player buys it and likes it.
Yes, and a lot of game developers make money off of game sales over time through like positive word of mouth, game being spread around certain communities. What are they supposed to do if the game is randomly taken away from people? What are they supposed to do if the game is published by a company who openly says they're going to make you or try to make you get rid of your own games if they don't want to support it anymore? Does that make me more or less likely to buy the game the developer made? If the developer makes an online game, makes a multiplayer game, but also we go into the experience knowing that it could be taken away from us at any time, does that make me more or less likely to try the game in the first place? Does that make the developer's vision more or less likely to be seen by people? This is what I mean by logically inconsistent. Because you're trying to create this fantasy scenario where people are just rage baiting about stop killing games, and that stop killing games is like all based off this misconception that developers are they're trying to trick you, man. But now you're being like, oh, developers, they gotta make a game that people want to play. They have to develop a game that people want to play. Yeah, and what happens if the people who would play it are constantly being told that their games can be taken away from them? Does that make them more or less likely to engage with the developer's vision?
And game development is one of the only few jobs on this planet where it is expected of you to always be better and better. You're never allowed to fail.
Wait, what? It's one of the... Game development is one of the only jobs where you're expected not to fail? Are you serious?
Because if you fail at your job, you're considered like some type of evil that needs to be destroyed.
No. If you're a developer and you make a bad game, you're not evil. There's plenty of developers who make bad games and then make a good game. They make good games and make a bad game. What you're talking about is reputation. If you have a reputation for making bad games, then yeah, people are going to understand that you have a track record of making bad games. And whose fault is that? The developers. Or maybe the publishers, if they didn't give them enough funding, didn't give them enough time. It amazes me that you had the fucking balls to call other YouTubers hate grifters or just rage baiting. You had the fucking balls to say that about other YouTubers. You don't even know what's going on.
That's not the case for most other jobs on this planet.
It's not the case in other jobs that if you do a bad job, people are going to remember the bad job that you did, especially if you do a bad job over and over and over and over again. There's no other field where people will remember the fact that you constantly do a bad job. Have you ever had a job? What? If you do a bad job consistently, there's this magical thing called getting fired.
Whereas a YouTuber who makes YouTube videos about the gaming industry, accusing them of that stuff, are they getting better and better at their job? Do they give you better and better quality? No, they just keep repeating the same thing. They buy a microphone, sit at the table. So for them, it's a race to the bottom in terms of effort. Sit at the table, make as much money as possible just by talking on a YouTube video.
And you're doing what exactly right now? No, he's not sitting at a table, Joe. He's standing at a desk. Oh, sorry. I'll just kill myself.
Which I think should hopefully change your perception about, or to say another way, it's
Oh my god. Again, you had the fucking balls to say other YouTubers put low effort into their videos and now they're just talking at a desk. Bro, at least I can mute my gameplay and cut the dead air. Holy shit. Dead air. Dead air.
A game developer has more interest in delivering a quality product.
Your window is not open. A motorcycle did not just drive by your house. It's the gameplay in the background of his video where he's playing Cyberpunk and he seemingly can't figure out how to open the fucking door on this car.
Than a gaming YouTuber. Now let's look at the petition, or the initiative, or whatever it is. Stop Killing Games is a consumer movement started to challenge the legality of publishers destroying video games they have sold to customers.
Great. Easy. Perfect thesis statement. Like when you go to English class and they tell you about thesis statements and how to write a thesis statement, this is a baller thesis statement. Boom. Stop Killing Games is a consumer movement started to challenge the legality of publishers destroying the video games that they have sold to consumers. Bam. Find me a better thesis statement than that.
An increasing number of video games are sold effectively as goods with no stated expiration date, but designed to be completely unplayable as soon as support from the publisher ends.
Yes, exactly. You buy a thing, there's no expiration date on the thing. Why can it be taken away from you? Why can the disc that you gave me after I gave you money, there was a transaction here, or the file that I bought from you, there was a transaction here, and the file or the disc are still in my possession, and yet the product is gone? What's the dealio with that? And also, to bring it back to a previous point, this didn't used to be a problem. This is a new problem.
I think that's a lie.
Oh, you think that's a lie? You think it's a lie? Okay, sure. Go on.
This practice is a form of planned obsolescence and is not only detrimental to customers, but makes preservation effectively impossible.
Yes, legal preservation of a lot of these games is legally not possible, which wouldn't be the biggest problem in the world if these publishers also were trying to take down the technically illegal ways to preserve these games. Hence the name of the movement being Stop Killing Games.
I think it's also a lie.
Oh, it's also a lie. Great. I can't wait for you to explain these things.
Furthermore, the legality of this practice is largely untested in many countries.
Which is also true, because, again, this is a new problem.
No, well, I think it's a lie. So, for example, you can buy Splinter Cell, the first game, on Steam.
Oh my god. You fucking moron. Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear how all of us are wrong about all of this and how the Stop Killing Games is a lie because you can buy fucking Splinter Cell on Steam. I need to hear this.
It was a great game back then. I think it came out before 2003. I think it's just listed on Steam for that date. I think it was from 2001.
I'm fact checking just because I'm bored. Splinter Cell 1. That came out in 2002, actually. So you're both wrong. Both Steam and you are wrong about this. Actually, Steam is technically correct because the PC version did come out in 2003. So actually, it's just you who's wrong, as usual.
You can buy it right now. You can still play it. I still have hard copies of almost every Splinter Cell game. I even have Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow, which is my favorite because of the multiplayer.
Explain to me how this 2002 game is representative of games released in the last console generation. Oh, you can't? You can't tell me how that's representative? Ah, my goodness. You know that point that I come back to in a lot of these videos where if you're trying to make an argument for why things are the way they are now, it's a bad idea to use an example from 20 years ago? Because if things are the way they are now for a reason, you should be able to give me a contemporary reason. If you're going back 20 years for your reasoning as to why things are the way they are now, you're just making me question you even more because I'm going to think you don't have an example if you have to go that far back. Physical copies of Splinter Cell 1 still exist, yeah. Splinter Cell still is being sold digitally, yeah. How does that change the fact that modern games with the modern user agreements are in trouble? You are misrepresenting and misunderstanding the entire point.
So the idea that publishers basically design their games to immediately drop out when they are, immediately turn them off when they stop developing it, that's not the case.
Yeah, literally no one said it was the case. Publishers are just going to delete the game as soon as they're done developing, and that's not the case. Yeah, give me one fucking person who said it was. That's literally never been the argument. What would the point of game development be if you're just going to delete the game immediately after releasing it? That does happen with some multiplayer games, and that's a whole different problem on its own, but that is not representative of what's going on right now. You German goofball.
No, there are cases where this happens and it should be allowed to happen. Allow me to explain.
Oh, okay, so the thing's not happening, but also it should be allowed to happen. I'm having so much fun. I definitely don't want to set myself on fire right now.
Let's say you're making a multiplayer game, like these MMO types like Dota, CSGO, like...
CSGO is not an MMO. CSGO is not an MMO. Also, CSGO doesn't exist anymore, which you can actually argue is a point in favor of Stop Killing Games, because look at that. A game that has not been preserved. Whoa.
Isn't there like a new one that sort of failed Concord? I haven't played it, and I don't play these games much. These mobile games, I think they're called.
Did you say mobile or MOBA? Because both of those things are wrong. But both of those labels are wrong.
Now the question is, should a game developer be allowed to fail?
Yes, of course they're allowed to fail. Of course they're allowed to fail. Why are you even trying to make that the question?
Like, why is it assumed by gamers and gaming YouTubers that a game developer who fails at delivering to a certain standard is somehow evil and should be destroyed forever?
That's not even remotely the argument. That's not even remotely the argument.
Because that's what they're asking for.
No, it's not.
Like, why should a game developer be forced to provide the infrastructure to keep a game running for decades after it failed?
For decades after it failed. Can you give one example of what you're talking about? You keep giving examples of things that are wrong, and then you keep misrepresenting the problem. I just want one proper example of what the fuck you're talking about. Also, that's part of the thing that Stop Killing Games is saying. Developers shouldn't be required to provide the infrastructure for decades after it failed, but if the game failed and you're not going to support it, you can at least be hands-off with the fucking thing.
Why can't the game just fail? Developer says, okay, we failed, this thing sucked, let's try better the next time.
Yeah, that's fine. If a game developer fails and the game sucks, yes, try better next time. Don't take the game away from the people who did support it. Don't erase it from history.
No, there should still be an honest effort, like, okay, let's say you make a multiplayer game.
Also, this logic seems to suggest that a good game can never fail financially, which we all know is not true. And it also seems to suggest that a bad game can never succeed financially, which also is not true.
I mean, this mostly affects multiplayer games.
Oh, it mostly affects multiplayer games. Then why did you bring up Splinter Cell 1 as your big takedown? You goofy goober.
Or the initiative. And let's say after release, it crashes really hard and it has like 20, 30 players every day. Which means it's functionally a dead game in terms of player base.
Okay. Let the community have it. You're not benefiting from keeping it up. You're not benefiting from continuing to support it, and that's completely understandable. I think gamers are a pretty reasonable bunch when it comes to the fact that if the game has no player base and no real money coming in, we're not going to demand you put lots of resources into supporting it. But we are going to be kind of pissed if you then try to delete it from history, instead of just letting people have it. Who is hurt by you just letting the community do private servers, letting the community mod the thing, letting the community do whatever with it? Because, again, this logic suggests that a good multiplayer game never fails, or that a bad multiplayer game never succeeds.
But the developers should still try in a few months, perhaps with a patch or something, to keep it, to get the numbers up.
Okay, so you do want developers to be obligated to support it. What?
But if it fails, then it failed. It should be allowed to turn it off after some time and try better next time.
Okay, great. Defend this, then. And also this. Games that are perfectly functional without support from the developers. Perfectly functional without additional updates. And yet they're gone. Meanwhile, Battlefront 2, Titanfall 2, online-focused games getting no updates, those are allowed to stay. Explain that disparity to me. Why are Battlefront 2 and Titanfall 2 still allowed to exist? Why are Anthem and The Crew not allowed to exist anymore? Even though Anthem and The Crew are far less reliant on the things that you would be needing support for, such as servers, or constant patches, or multiplayer support, those games do not really rely on those things, and yet they're being shut down. Meanwhile, these other games from, 8, 9 years ago, how many fucking years it's been since Battlefront 2 and Titanfall 2, those are allowed to stay, even though they're not getting updates either. It's almost like publishers get to pick and choose which games they keep and which games they don't, and it's not actually reliant on what you're talking about. And that is fucking wrong.
No, some players might say, okay, but what if the game developer just keeps doing that? Like, release a game, drop it after 1 month. That also doesn't work, because if customers know that's a developer that keeps failing at making games, then people will stop buying the game.
Wait a minute. You just said that that gamers have this idea that developers aren't allowed to fail. But now you're saying that developers can fail, and sometimes developers consistently fail. It's almost like if you're a developer who creates a bad reputation for yourself, then yeah, you have to do better. Like, what are you proposing? That's what I keep coming back to in the back of my brain, too. What are you proposing? What's the alternative? Well, like, in your fantasy scenario of how the gaming industry works, What's your alternative? Because you have a completely backwards idea of how the industry works. I just want you to tell me how the industry should work. Because apparently we're just doing it totally wrong.
So the developer has an incentive to give quality to the customer.
Yes, they always should have an incentive to give quality to the customer. That's not controversial.
And here's the other effect of it. If you use government force, as I mentioned earlier in the video, to force somebody else to do what you want, it always backfires.
Again, I don't even know what you think the government is being asked to do. That's the other thing. Using the government to make people do things that never goes well. What do you think is being proposed right now? Because Stop Killing Games is just trying to get the government to be like, hey, you can't just take people's shit away after they've bought it. That's all they're asking of them. Which, again, that's not even something that used to be okay. It's only just recently been made more frequent.
And in gaming, it would backfire in two ways. The first one is that developers would simply avoid the problem altogether. They would stop making games that have the risk of being required to be supported for many years or decades, even though nobody buys the games anymore, which means it's a money hole where you just have to keep something running, you're not getting anything out of it.
Really? Oh my god. You started gaming like 5 minutes ago. I'm absolutely certain of it. You started gaming like 5 minutes ago. You're talking about a scenario that is literally how the industry worked up until 5 minutes ago. You're talking about this as if it's the most unreasonable thing ever to be asked of anybody. But that's literally how it worked. If this goes through, that wasn't Sherman. If this goes through, if Stop Killing Games is successful, then we'll have gamers demanding more of their games. There will be competition between developers to make better products at fairer prices. That is unacceptable. This game, it costs too much to be supported. So the developers and the publishers will have to be smarter with their budgets. And the entire industry will become more conscious of how overly expensive everything is. And that is unacceptable.
And so developers, especially small game developers, like the supposed heroes of gaming, like they often portray, which I think is not always the case.
Smaller developers are not the heroes of gaming. Oh, okay. Well, conveniently, smaller developers are also coming out in support of Stop Killing Games. You really did just start playing games like 5 minutes ago. You only play the most AAA of AAA games, and you got into gaming 5 minutes ago. That's why you're opposed to this.
They will simply avoid making games that have these liabilities where you have to support something for decades. They will make small single-player games, maybe even really primitive, small indie roguelike games because they don't require much support.
Oh, so smaller developers with smaller budgets who are trying to be like more conscious of ongoing costs, they would make games that are easier to support with low ongoing costs? So what you're saying is developers and publishers need to be smarter with their money? Yes, that's correct. You idiot.
And stop making anything larger, more innovative.
This also seems to suggest that smaller games with smaller budgets and smaller ongoing support can never be financially successful, which we all know is not true even a little bit.
But stop chasing innovation in terms of video games.
Small developers stop chasing innovation, and big developers are doing what exactly in terms of innovating? Again, you truly did start playing games 5 minutes ago.
No, large developer can afford 1 or 2 dead games, just having your server running for it, because they have other games running for that.
So larger developers can afford dead games because they have other games to make up for it. Smaller developers, they can't afford dead games, guys. Small developers, no, you're supposed to start in the gaming industry and immediately be successful. That's how the gaming industry works. You start and then you're immediately successful all the time. How long have I been recording? 37 minutes. I'm only halfway through this video. I might do a part 2 of this fucking thing. Fucking drop a like if you want part 2 of this thing, because I just can't right now. I genuinely just can't with this guy. I can't and I won't. If we can't, we won't. So that was fun. I hated all of that. I'm gonna do the Doofus Club now, and let me know if you want me to finish this fucking video in a part 2. Hooray. I hate all of this. Okay, Ed Omega, Big Fudge, Devastator 2000, Big McLarge, Huge, One Man Savage, why the fuck you stream that shit, Wings of Redemption, Clemento Penguin, DeJojo 6, Axel Liam, Theme of the Beastoms, Evan Co, Laser Gaming with Dead People, Oracle, The Better Turn of the King, but is upside down, Biscuit 101, Raffle Coaster, Adam Raz 26, Max Killer V2 Gaming, Call Ward 789, Nate, Blast 1314, Jimmy Chops, Mario Baby a Cuck, but Harmon can't get a girl, Michael Musial, Master Killer, Firestorm 2056, Demetrius Papagiorno, Tom Snorlax, and put your fingers in between my toes and squeeze really hard, Unknown 1876, 18, Kev Dog 992, Saigun Joe from Seattle, Official Dregs, Mash Star, Jamie Heinemann's mustache tickles my balls, Fire Brain, Epion 504, Grimsy, Edge Shadow Bear 1789, Espresso Hunter, Kishker, Unicorn Rocco, Benefondu, The Motor's Fine, Stop Being a Doofus, Fat Tits of Lardation, Shout Out, Sean Ranklin, T-Train, Risinger, Sensenakaga, and Non-Valoff, forgot to change my name, Partial Mean 8, Volksauto, Codman 4372WX, I need a stupid name for Joe to read out loud for everyone to see, Celeraco, Pyrock, Olorotho 1, Kitten Slicer 420, give me your cats, Doug Nixie Smile, Snake Eyes 327, Joe, why would you leave us? We miss you, sexy man, MK296E, I'm still in the Mojo, please get help, Hentai X, Machina Gamma, Elite Wolf, Firewolf, Fire Hazard 105, GWXSS, Rast the Wolf, OK Toodles, Tech Gaming, Jungle Zone, Slim Jim, All Games Video, Why You Little, Joe from Anthocon, Chris Void, Pope Raphael the Rat King, Jessica Spiral, Jessica Shepard, fuck, Riki Spiral, Riki Tiki Tabby, Muskie, Dog 49, Kirby the Steel Angel, Doug, Dimmadome, Doofus of the Dimmadoofus Club, Sergeant Jason Bond, Baron Von Vaughn, Cyrus 6771, Don't Call Me Doofus, it hurts my feelings, you text 940, you haven't helped me out of the moat, and you are laughing, Joe, ha ha ha, the first Doofus, Creed Warrior 23, Max the Chev, the trap is back, Totally Insane, Black Cobra, the Anwal Slayer, Night of Cypher, ML04, I own 6 copies of Click 2006 on Blu-ray, why haven't you helped him out of the moat, Joe, ha ha ha, Wolf of Midnight, Stig Rider, the Pig Venus, Steve Wynn Studios, Film Crack, Gnome Gaming, Tariq Brown, Thornton Skate, Magan X, Everett Evans, Spinal 3, this Catalina Freaking Wine Mixer, Pow Pow, oh my goodness! Why Trouble Donnie Weston, Nick Donegan, Draws Max on Twitch, come hang y'all, Gob Gonson, Rogue Winter 919, Bobby Hinner, Kenny Getting Fanny, Hangman for Hire, Elden Noel, Frost Crystal, Biogenesis, Ian in Action, Floppy Pinkus 97, Mega Keys, Corpusco, Ghost Ho, Ryusagi, Vasco, Raptor Tim, The Amazing Blight Man, Blue Hook, Film and Tip, it was a real cool club, and you're not part of it. Jody Breeze, Smitty Burger, Jägerman Jensen, Machilazar, named Max, Laura McAdvertisement, Diego Garcia, JJ Jesse, Mike Kibbigans, I American Idiot, Harmon Smith, Southern Chan, Ono S. Justin, Rand Rui, Twinny Way, Mechanical Resonance, Extreme Wolf 7, Joey Scoops, Negative Creep, Joe Taco, Poop, Bee Bang, Cat Chicken, oh my fucking god. Poop, pee, cat, oh my god. Poop, pee, bang, cat, chicken, sucker, mom, banger, 8008. Wanna be hobo? Jesus. Wanna be hobo? Joe, have a look at Spires Road, Victoria 3... what? Spires Road, Victoria 3564 on Google Maps? What? Bill at 310 Chara, Rob C, Veg, Groove Banana, Kurd, Nowance Pack, the Scrum Master, Joe Only Fans, coming soon, okay Toodles. Oh my goodness. It just gets worse every time, you know? I don't get better at this. I don't get better at this, and I never will. Okay, Toodles.